Rock the Ripple. Rock the Ripple. The Rock the Ripple podcast with Narita McInnes.
Let's do this. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Rock the Ripple podcast. I'm your host, Narita McInnes. It is so awesome to be here with you as always. And today is another very exciting day because I have a guest who has been on the show before. He is the one and only Number Vibrationalist. He has a brand new podcast that he will soon be releasing. It is called the Synchronicity Show. He is, of course, the one and only Donovan Gall. Donovan, welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's official now. I can't back out.
You can't back out. It's out there.
Oh my God. So grateful for you having me back on. This is amazing and very timely, very timely. Yeah, as I said, it's been an interesting week because I don't know how you experienced this when you said to the universe, right, that's it, universe, I'm going to create a podcast. I don't know what process you went through, but for me, it's been so interesting. And it's kind of like, it's that polarity thing, right? It's like you say, right, I'm going to step into my creation mode. I'm going to do what I'm meant to do, what I'm here to do, who I'm meant to be, true to who I am. Yeah. And the minute you do that, it's almost like this thing we call the matrix goes, right, I'm going to throw everything at you to make you find out whether you're serious about this or not. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Right. So as I was telling you when we were last having a chat, so the laptop, it craps out, right? Yeah. When I said, yep, I'm going to do a podcast. So I've had to go through all the things of getting all the, getting a microphone, getting a headset, getting all the tech together. And I haven't even learned how to use the tech yet, right? And then I haven't decided to do the guest star yet. And I'm like, so it's all right. It's all right, because what we learn to do, as I know that you, in your teachings, is that whole trust thing. Just trust, set your intention, know your why, and then just flow with that. Because as we know from experience, how do we know everything works out? Because it always has.
Yeah.
in one way or another, So I'm my human me is trying not to get rattled and allow any kind of stress to come in about this, because again, it's like all things, it's all self-created, right? I said I want to create a podcast, right? Any stress that comes with that, well, that's coming from me. It's not coming from anywhere external to me, So I'm just kind of giggling and laughing at the way this is all working out, right? Because it's like we play this beautiful game of polarity in the human experience, and we go, right, let me not make challenges wrong. Let me embrace them as a gift, because what they're actually doing is they're saying to me, right, we're going to put these things in the way to speed you up in the process, so that you just go like, I'm ready. Just go. Just do you, Donovan, and go for it. So and that's been the experience. It's quite a process. I mean, how was it for you when you first went, yep, all right, I'm going to create a podcast?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I'd been doing videos, but then I stopped, and then I never thought I'd do videos, and I just thought I'll just write little posts and no one will see me or whatever. And then I just had this inner knowing, like, it's time and I'm going to do it. And I'd played around and stuff before, and then I just did it. And then you just do one thing. Like, that's the thing. Like, sometimes we let the tech get in the way or this and that. But right now I'm talking to you in the car. Like, you could do your whole podcast from the car. Like, it wouldn't matter if the tech didn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we put these things in the way, and we think, oh, well, I need this first, or I need that to be done, or it needs to be perfect. It's never going to be bloody perfect. You just got to do it, and then you'll learn as you go. Because if you think about all the things that you need to do, you'll never do it. So you just got to do it, and then you just find your way along the way, like just learning to walk. You're like, I'll learn this as I go. Like, and I'm a learning as I go person as well too, and I think you are as well too. So so you just go, okay, well, next time I might try it this way, or maybe I won't use that mic, I'll use this mic, or you know what I mean?
And that really gets to the core of it for me, like the imperfectly perfect thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be imperfect, but that's the very thing that makes you unique, you know? It's like, you know, my experience of needing and wanting to share, because it's in my soul that I need to express. I've got excitement and you know, I've met people with amazing stories, and I've got synchronicity stories about my life, and I'm like, oh my God, I just need to share this with the world, right? And again, it's not like I don't even care if like only one person listens, you know. It's just something I'm, like you said, I'm called to do.
Yeah.
And it's coming on very strong that it's time, Donovan. Just step out, step up, trust the process, and it's the right time. And it's funny you say about the tech and how we use excuses. It's like you can find an excuse for everything.
Yeah. Why
not to do something? It's about finding excuses why to feel the fear, forge ahead and do it anyway, you know?
Yeah.
And now as you say that, I'm thinking back about what I've done up to this point, and it's very much like I've always just done it on off the cuff. I'm like, I need to express and share this now. Not thinking about, oh, how's it going to look? How's it going to sound? You know, because it's not about that. Like, you know, because anyone that knows me personally just goes, that's Donovan. He just goes with the flow. He's very spontaneous. So if this creation is an emanation of who I authentically truly am, it's going to be like that. You know, people aren't going to get, and I'll say this officially, this Synchronicity Show, every episode is going to be completely different. It's never going to be the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's an expression of my soul, and you know, with all that self-love thing, it's about loving that imperfection. You know, and then the beauty is souls like yourself that I'm connecting with who really get this. You're so supportive, you know, and you're so like, and it's like, it's so gorgeous when you come into resonance with souls that they're just like, we're just here to love on you, you know? And then you reciprocate that love back and you ripple that out. And it's oh my God, the synchronicities that you were saying about, you know, about taking one step at a time. So like in the last week, I've been receiving the code 1212, right?
Yep.
Now for me, the code 1212, the first thing, see, I get images from numbers. That's one way that they come at me and speak to me. And to me, the code 1212 was always one step, two step, one step, two steps. So it's just taking a step in the direction of that which you are wanting to create.
Yeah, I feel that too. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a walk, or it's also like breath, right? So one is the breath in, two is the breath out, right? Now, one breath, I was talking to Dane Abraham Quirk last night about the breath, and how actually when you look at the breath, everything's got number in it, right? One breath is a breath in and a breath out. So you've got two contained within the one. So having got this 1212 code and again going, okay, what are you trying to tell me? I'm thinking about taking one step in the direction of my dreams, you know, breathe through the process, and then understanding that all breath is an in and an out. We don't favor the in breath as a positive and the out breath as a negative thing, right?
Yeah.
Because if you project upwards to the in breath and you say, no, in's positive but out's negative, then guess what? You'll be dead.
Yeah.
Because, and that's what asthma is. You're breathing in, and actually you're breathing in and in and in, but you're not being able to let enough air out. And that's where people get into like an asthmatic attack, and then they can't breathe. They've got to go to hospital, and some people die from it, right? I know that sounds this is typical me, a weird example, but the point being, it's like, so I get that code 1212 and I'm like, right, breathe in, breathe out. It's all part of the process. Take one step forward, one step back. It's all good. Just keep flowing naturally, and it'll all work out. And then 1212, I also see as 33, which is my life path number, right?
Yeah.
So again, I'm in the process of even just conceptualizing that I want to create something that is this space to have people on and tell their synchronicity stories and share my own learnings and just share all the beauty that are, and not the not beautiful stuff, you know, the challenges and the, all, as I'm saying now, you know, that 33 life path is the expressor, it is the speaker, it is the writer, it is the musician, it's all the things,
Yeah.
which has all been part of my journey. But it's funny how I'm receiving this code at a time where I'm going, right, I'm going to get serious, I'm going to actually do something.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the thing I'm really excited about sharing in the coming time, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's like there's this force of energy of this knowledge that's coming forward on the planet right now. And most people will have heard about natural law. Now, having been all the archetypes, you know, I've been a musician, I've been a freedom fighter, I've been a brother, a son, I've been all the things, you know,
Yeah.
and played all these different roles. And the understanding with natural law is that nature has all that we need to understand everything. And if we can see it in nature, then we can see it in ourselves, you know. And I'm just really excited to talk very much, not so much talk, but share how deep an understanding I've got to in this knowledge that's coming forward that I think is really breaking down a lot of the distortion and complication that we've all been bombarded with over the last sort of 10, 15 years, you know, whether it be religion or spirituality or what is freedom, what is sovereignty, and then all the other stuff like what is common law, what is the Magna Carta, what is all the things, right? And the thing I love about natural law is the first thing it does is it simplifies everything.
Yep.
Which is I will always repeat this. It's like in my journey, the more simple things are, the more profound they seem to be. And the more that I simplify things in my mind and in my life and in my heart, I seem to get closer to the core of, okay, what's this all about? You know?
Yeah.
So the natural law principles, you know, I'm going to be sharing a lot about what I learned from Mark Passio's work, The One Great Work, and also others doing similar work like Will Keller, who you've had on your show.
Yeah.
Just such amazing knowledge, and the beauty of this knowledge is that we can all access it because it's not difficult. It's actually unlearning rather than learning something, deprogramming, you know.
Yes.
And it takes a weight off because it makes everyone realize that we're equally all as intelligent as each other, and we already have all the knowledge like in nature showing us and within us because we are nature. It takes the weight off thinking you're not smart enough or anything like that, because it's like it's all there. We just have to see it, you know, and recognize it. So this is going to be a very big part of my message moving forward. I can feel that and believe me, I've got a lot to learn. You know, I'm trying to integrate these principles of natural law every day. And then coming back to what we were saying about the 33 and the podcast and the process, one of the core tenets of natural law is take action. Right? You know, and here I sit and I'm like, okay, I've been doing Facebook Lives for what? I don't know, 10 years or so, periodically.
Yeah.
I've said a lot of shit, right? I've said a lot of stuff, shared a lot of stuff. I go back to some of my early ones and I'm like, oh my God, Donovan, seriously? Are you
Oh,
right?
yeah, I can relate.
But the beauty of going back and seeing that is you see how far you've come, but also you can look at that now and you can go, well, that was all part of the journey, the hero's journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see how I needed to go through these lacks of understanding to get to the profound, simpler understanding that I'm now at.
Yeah.
And that makes me excited. And I really want to share because I feel I love to be the example for people on how to fuck up and get things wrong, right? Because think about your favorite people. They're the people that make you feel the most comfortable, that make you feel like, I feel so comfortable in a room or in a space talking and interacting with someone like you, Donovan, you, Narita, because I don't feel intimidated or judged or anything like that. I just feel honored and seen. Yeah. And it's like I'm a weird one because I know it's part of my journey to put my journey on show.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people have a lot of fear about that. They're like, oh, I don't want the world to see the real me, right? And I'm like, that's the only thing to do, you know? And this is what the natural law principles get you to do. They get you to come back to the most important and only thing for you to do is to be completely and utterly authentically you. So there's nothing to hide, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I share my journey and show my flaws and my failings and how I process and go through that process to get to, if you like, a better version of me, it makes people feel connected because they go, oh, me too. Oh, I'm experiencing that too, you know?
Yeah.
And that's my why. It's like my why is I know that if something's occurred to me and it's made my life and my experience of the human experience and my reality better, well, then it's got to be good for somebody out there, you know, even if it's only just one person.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you more. And it can be hard to do sometimes to, when you're putting yourself out there, but as you're talking, and I'm sure that people who are listening or watching, they will be feeling it too. Like, it's like you've got to explode with this information. Like, if you don't do this, you will explode. Like, you have to do it. You're the communicator. You've got so much to share. You're so good in conversation, and it just oozes out of you. Like, so you can't not do it. And if you didn't do it, like, you would become really depressed, or you might become sick or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to do it. And that is like what you're expressing and showing people as well. Like, this is what a knowing looks like. And I think it's also what it feels like. And you saying that, like, you can just feel it. And so you have to do it. And it doesn't matter. You just rip the Band-Aid off and you just go, who gives a flying fuck how the first one even looks? Like, just do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like you said, the 1 2 1 2, like, just do it. And I love that it adds up to 33, which, is your life path number. So yeah.
Well, that's it. And I mean, it's like, again, like with the codes, the number codes, it's like the universe. This is going to be very much part of the Synchronicity Show, right? And I wish I could interview every soul on the planet. I really,
Yeah. I know you would. You would.
because I would if I could.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got a story, right? Even for people that have never heard of the word synchronicity or the concept, they don't know what it is. Everyone has some kind of synchronistic experience in their life, right? And these stories are so powerful because what I've found, when you get to the core of what is synchronicity, what is it not, and all this sort of, level of understanding, it's like the universe. So Carl Jung describes synchronicity as this concept where it's so seemingly correlated events, right?
Yeah.
That are coming from a higher or spiritual dimension. And that is very much my direct experience of what synchronicity is, right? And then people will find ways to, through their programming, they'll find ways to say, to throw the baby out with the bathwater and go, oh no, that's something we call coincidence.
Yeah.
Right. But then when you say to someone, but what is a coincidence? And you ask them to define what's a coincidence? How does that happen? I don't know. No one really has an answer for that. This is what I love about the mysteriousness of how synchronicity works, right?
Mm.
And it's my favorite subject because it's so inexplicable. And it's so fun and it's so mysterious, it's like it's coming from somewhere that you almost can't touch it. You can't explain it. You can't touch it.
Mm.
But for you, like I've been studying people's synchronicities and also my own for such a long time. I've noticed it has a certain rhythm and a pattern to it.
Mm.
And for me, what I've noticed in it, especially for people so when I'll put it this way, it comes in waves.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And when it comes in a wave, sometimes it can be so many things that are so connected that it almost blows your mind apart, because you're like, how could I have said something to Deb last night in a conversation, right? That then I'll be listening to a Rock the Ripple podcast and you and Will Keller will bring up that very concept that Debbie and I were talking about last night, right?
Yeah.
And I had no plans to watch your podcast tomorrow, but then it came up and here you are and you're talking about that exact thing. And then something else, like I'll go to work and I'll hear two guys over there and they'll mention a key word that was part of that thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll walk past, I'll turn on the radio and there'll be a song, and in the lyrics, it'll be mentioning that thing, right?
Yeah.
And so what I really want to share and have fun in the playground of this experience with people with the Synchronicity Show is, let's look at this and let's learn from it and say, so what is the point of synchronicity? What's it trying to achieve with us?
Mm.
And I truly believe, the law of correspondence.
Mm.
I feel that the law of synchronicity is a natural law.
Mm.
Okay. And it's going to be interesting to see if I can actually prove that.
Yeah.
Right. But it's so fascinating to me. It's just something I feel. So where I'm at so far, and this may change depending on my experiences as it all unfolds, but where I'm at now is we all have a blueprint, a unique blueprint, right? And you can see that if you look at your numerology, you can see it if you look at your astrology, you can see if you look at your aura, whichever modality, you look at your biology, your physical, right? We are all so unique. So we have a mission and a life path, right?
Mm.
And if we're swaying off that life path, or we're not in alignment with our true, authentic, unique self and what we're here to be and do, if we're, because we're infinite beings, right? We're the culmination of all that we've been, seen, and done, and here you are. If you're swaying off that path, what I believe the point of the law of synchronicity is to gently nudge you and guide you back to say, no, come on, look, you're getting distracted. Look, you're amazing. You're unique. You've got gifts. Let's get you back in alignment with who you are and what you're here to do, right? But what it does is the law of synchronicity, the force of synchronicity, if you like, will also do is it will give you clues, but it's still back to you, right?
Yeah.
So it's like giving you clues, and it's going, all right, I'm trying to get your attention to draw you back to yourself. Because deeply and innately, we all know how we feel. It's like there's an innate knowing. We know who we are and what we're here to do, but we often just ignore that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Knowingly
or unknowingly. Yes.
Because we're so distracted with the external world and all the noise and all the stuff and all the colors and the lights and the things and it's important. I got to do this and I got to earn the money and all the stuff. But when we come back to ourselves, there is this innate knowing that we all have, which we call intuition, So I think that is the point of synchronicity, is it's like a guide.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some souls are really lucky. I'm not. I've had some experiences, but they can see their guides. They say, I can see my guides. I talk to them, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
So for me, it's like synchronicity is my guide.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah, go.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I was going to say, you're like, and I really resonate with it, synchronicity sort of bringing us back to where we're going. Do you think it also acts as confirmation when we've set intentions to give us that as well? Do you think it does that too?
100%. That was
Yeah.
the next part I was going to say.
Oh, there you go.
You nailed it.
Yeah, you
Absolutely nailed it.
answered something. I had a question before and you answered it, and I didn't even have to ask the question. So reading each other's mind.
This is how we rock.
Yeah.
That's the other experience that I've the other thing I've witnessed and learned is that if you've come into alignment and you've made a decision, okay, I'm going to create a synchronicity show, right?
Mm.
I start getting not just number codes, but just like synchronicities in general going, you're on path, right? So the day that I said yes to the synchronicity show, went to work, got in the bus, started my shift, right? Blah, blah, blah. And I kid you not, I had about 6 or 7 number plates with DG came past.
Really?
Which
That's
is obviously my initials, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it, and one of them was DG33. And
Oh,
I'm
of
like,
course it was, as if.
come on, like,
Yeah.
right? And the other thing I've noticed about the law of synchronicity is if you're more attuned to synchronicity, it starts working more frequently with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Which is a level of observance. So, and it's really important too. So yeah, you get confirmation, 100%.
Yeah.
If you made a decision, you're aligned with who you truly are, and you're heading in the right direction, the law of synchronicity will throw things at you to say, hey, good job, well done. You're on track, right?
Mm.
And again, it comes back to you. It becomes your job to sort of, in the right way, interpret and decode these synchronicities to understand what is it trying to tell me. And the more attuned you get, the more you straight away within seconds, you get presented with the synchronistic sign, whatever it may be, and you go, I know what you're saying there. You'll know immediately. You'll be like, oh, I'm getting off path, or oh, you're giving me confirmation I'm on path.
Yeah.
And that's what I've observed. The other thing I'm really keen and very excited to share my only, again, where I'm up to so far, because always learning, always the student, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And synchronicity is a great teacher. Is what is synchronicity not? Okay. Now what, and I love this concept. I think they've got a name for it. When if you want to understand the thing, look at what it's not.
Yes.
Understand the thing better. There's a name for that. I don't know, like a scientific psychology name for that.
There were. Oh, yeah, and neither of us can remember right now. So that's fine.
I can't remember the exact term they use for that, but it's such a powerful way to deepen your level of understanding of something. So, what is synchronicity not? Now, being attuned and being observant to the synchronicities that you're presented with, is not the same as looking for patterns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, part of becoming attuned and observing is you kind of have to look for patterns to start with, to start to learn, to be able to recognize what you're being presented with.
Yes.
But what we don't want to be doing is we don't want to be looking for a pattern in everything. And I've been in groups of people that are actually just like, everything's a synchronicity, right?
Yeah.
And I can tell you, like from the deepest depths of my heart, the truth in this experience of synchronicity is it's not about making everything unicorns and rainbows, right?
Yeah. Yes.
It's very real and it's very honest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's not, the law of synchronicity isn't throwing things at you to make you have a dopamine hit and feel like you're a unicorn floating around all day farting rainbows, right?
Yeah.
And I've been there, so I know the polar difference, right? But what we don't want to be doing is we don't want to be like every time we look at the clock, that's a synchronicity, right?
Yeah. Or waiting like till it's like 11:11.
That there. So I've been around people that I know 100%. They've sat there and it's 11:10 and they're waiting and it goes 11:11. They screenshot and they go, look, I got 11:11. And I'm like, it's like I could feel it. I'm like,
yeah, you can.
it's not authentic, right?
Mm.
So that's what it's not. But the other thing that I think synchronicity is not, and it's so relevant right now, is we're under a new paradigm of something we call it AI. Okay. And I heard this new concept the other day. I can't remember who was saying it. It might have been David Whitehead, who's freaking amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
He's been in STE with us with Dale and Mads.
Great.
He's For the Truth podcast. If anyone hasn't heard it, David Whitehead on the For the Truth podcast. That's been my favorite for the last month, and I can't stop listening. Oh my God. I could go on for an hour about what he shares and how authentic and amazing he is.
Yes.
But
can I ask you a favor with your thing? Just pull it forward a bit. I think it's knocking on your thing.
Sorry.
No, all good. Yeah.
I'll hold it. Yeah, cool. What was I saying? The
Dave Whitehead.
What is synchronicity? Yeah. So we were talking about AI, and someone had come forward with the idea that we don't actually have AI yet. That what we have is algorithmical learning.
Yes, actually, was that on a reel or something?
Or something.
Someone, maybe Dale shared that on his Insta. Anyway, I know what you're talking about. There's a young guy with blonde hair.
I only heard the audio, I think.
Oh, okay. Maybe not. Yeah, anyway, keep going.
But this person, and it made a lot of sense to me. And I was like, cool, okay. Like all things, we take in everything and then we, we take what resonates. And I thought, actually, that really works for me, right? All the fear porn about, oh my God, AI is going to take over the world. AI is going to become sentient. It's going to be the Terminator. That's our future. Armageddon. The robots are going to kill us. All that, right? Like honestly, is that really? I don't see that for humanity. And I think history has shown that that's just not the way things are going to go.
Yeah.
But that's another tactic of the fear porn, right? But algorithmical learning, okay? So here's what I've noticed over time. Synchronicity, right? I will not take everything that comes up on my phone or Facebook or social media as synchronicity, because when this sort of AI algorithmical learning started becoming more a part of what we're interacting with, it would seem that everything was a synchronicity, because what was happening is the algorithmical learning, or AI, if you want to call it that, was listening to every conversation, taking it in, using the algorithm and feeding back to you ads, posts, whatever.
Yeah.
According to what, even to the point, and people have experienced, I've experienced it too, where I've had a thought, I haven't even spoken it aloud.
Yes, I was about to say that. Yeah. Reading my mind again. You're not AI, are you, Donovan?
God, I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, no, actually, you know why I know I'm not AI?
Why?
Because I promised I'd never do it, but then Dale did it and Mads did it. They started interacting with Chat GPT and AI and asking it questions. So when I said yes about the podcast, I'm like, I wonder what AI thinks synchronicity is.
Yeah.
And I asked it, and it gave me this response that said, AI can't experience synchronicity because it doesn't have human consciousness.
Oh.
Right?
Wow. Yeah.
And I'm like, that just said it all right there.
Yeah.
Right? And then I said, is AI sentient yet? And its response was the same, where it said, not yet, leaving the door open. But it's like, AI cannot experience being sentient because we don't have human consciousness. And I was giggling and laughing. I'm like, we've already won the war with AI, because it's admitting I don't have what you have.
Yeah.
Like, you're already far more intelligent beings than what I could ever be.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the algorithm thing. So yeah, it's gotten to a point where the AI algorithmic learning is so advanced now that it would seem that you're having a thought without even speaking it aloud, and then you get presented with posts, ads, social media, whatever, or people talking about that thing that you were thinking about, and then if you're not attuned to true synchronicity, you're going to think that's all synchronicities.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm guilty of it, because when this started, as it was getting more advanced, and that's only in the last 3 to 5 years, right? Even less. I was going, oh my God, I was just thinking this, and then I've got to post it. And I'm right. So I was there thinking this was all synchronicity until I came back to the core of it, and then started to realize, okay, this technology is advancing. I need to remember that on that deeper level, that synchronicity, that's the other thing about the agenda. They're trying to hijack anything that is metaphysical, not of this world, because they don't want us connected to something greater and higher, or not higher, but just out,
all that is
infinite
that we are. Yeah.
the infinite that we are. They want to cut us off from having that connection. So again, that's trying to hijack, say, what I call the law of synchronicity, and then trying to sort of utilize that so that you don't actually interact and experience the divine synchronicity, the real deal.
Yeah, totally.
So interesting concepts.
Oh, it's so interesting. And that's the thing. It's almost like organic synchronicity, synthetic synchronicity. You know what I mean? And like being able to discern between the two, and like to really, which I think in a way would actually help us even more come back to who we are. You know what I mean? So yeah.
The more we learn what it's not, the more you come back to self.
Yeah.
And like intuition and trusting and knowing and discernment, and developing that to the best level that we all possibly can.
Yeah.
But it's like when I when I did Dale and Nikki were doing the shrine videos, right?
Yes.
And then this guy, Dane, who lives down at Maruya, down at the South Coast, where I'd been holidaying for 4 years with Deb, the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And he puts out these videos and does the shrine line and does the crossing line from Maruya to Parliament House, where I did my apprenticeship and spent 9.5 years. And then just the most mind-blowing level of connections, right? But this is a human being expressing what he's seeing. And then it all led, it was just ridiculous. Like the number of synchronicities was I'm just like, who is this guy, right? Never heard of him. And then he's talking about gematria, and I'm like, oh, he's talking numbers, right? Okay, right. What the? Anyway, because of all of this, I've now connected with Dane, and now we've become really good friends, and we basically speak the same language.
Yeah.
Right, about our understanding of the nature of reality and just all the things. So again, synchronicity wanted me to connect with Dane. Right? Now that's very real, because Dane is a real soul. He's a real person, right? He's not a robot. He's not a post on Facebook. He's not a video on YouTube. He's a real person. And so synchronicity has gone, you know how your mission number 33, Mr. Donovan Gall, is to sort of go down this way. Well, I'm gonna bring someone in here for you who's going to expand the next thing that you need to, he's got some keys and pieces of the puzzle that you need, and you've got some for him, and I'm going to bring you together. And this is the beauty I'm talking about in the real divine synchronicity.
Yes.
So,
and you got to bring him on the podcast too, because
he's raring to go. He's like me. He's exploding. He's got so much. And that was the thing in Lakesh. I saw another me.
Yeah.
You are another me in Lakesh. I saw him expressing. I'm like, this guy's like a mirror. He's like me. He's like excited. He's a bit of a kid. He's like a kid in a lolly. All this stuff, and I'm so excited. And I'm like, I love that, because again, like getting to the point where you see another as another you, and then we all get into the playground together, and we're all. And this is the other thing that is so timely about me launching the Synchronicity Show at this time, is we're currently, I'm sure we've all noticed, we're in a point of demystifying so much,
Oh,
right?
yes.
And my favorite demystifying process that's going on right now is breaking down dogma religion. And David Whitehead, for the Truth podcast, I'll repeat it again. He gave the best explanation I have ever heard, having been grown up Catholic and did communion and confirmation in the church, and went to a Catholic school. So I've experienced that for real, played music in the church, all that.
Yeah.
So I know what Catholicism is. But he broke down Christianity and explained how it's actually quite possibly at the core of the religion. Forget all the distortions that have come since, but it's the sun and the moon. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that it's an I won't go through it now. If anyone wants to hear it, go For the Truth podcast, David Whitehead, hear him about halfway through, talk about breaking down to the very core what the true meaning of Christianity might actually be, and it'll blow you away. It's so simple.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it and put it in the description for everyone. Yeah.
Be so good.
Yeah.
And then the part of this demystifying process at the moment, like we're looking at everything we've been taught and programmed with, and we're going, nah, let's really find out, what did it really mean? Like the nursery rhymes. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Down came Jack. Jack came down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Again, it's the sun and the moon, right? So, up the hill, heading up the hill, up the archway of the heavens, right?
Yeah.
Up goes the sun every morning, which is the resurrection.
Yeah.
By noon, the Most High, the Holy Spirit, right? And then set, Egyptian set. The sun sets in the evening, right? And he loses his crown. So the sun rays go down. He loses his crown. And Jill comes tumbling after. Jill is the moon.
Yeah.
And when the sun goes down, the moon's always following. And it's so beautiful and it's so simple, but it was in front of us the whole time and we missed it.
Yeah.
And fetching a pail of water, the sun in Aquarius, the water bearer, right? So these things, that there's so much of this coming forward now, and everyone's now looking at everything that we were taught and going, let's look at word etymology, which is part of what I'm going to be doing with numerology and Synchronicity Show and all the rest. Let's look at the etymology of words. We are learning so much about our reality and the way the world has worked forever and is now through the etymology, the true meaning of words, going back to its original core essence. And words are numbers and numbers are words. And this is why numerology comes into it. So, even breaking down nursery rhymes and actually realizing what they really mean now. Oh my God, like so good.
Yeah, so good.
To think that one of the simplest things that we were taught as a kid, Jack and Jill went up the hill, right, to fetch paper, and none of us knew what the hell we were talking about. Always never really thought about it. And it's astrology. Like what? So again, the most simple things, the most profound. So
Yeah. Oh, this is so good. I can't wait for you to start your podcast. It's going to be.
I can't wait either.
I know. If you don't get the tech, if you don't get stuff, just do it in the car. Make sure you're recording, and you're done. You're done.
Well, the first one may be just like this. Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah. Oh,
so 11th of July.
Yes, that was my next question. You really are reading my mind today, Donovan.
That's all right, because I got to go in a minute. But,
I know.
So 11 July, I'm planning on launching episode 1. I have been guided and decided and guided. I like that. That first podcast will be just me. It'll just be me.
Yes.
Little talking head me, just exploding with what all the magic that I've been experiencing in lately. And then I'll just go from there.
Yeah.
And then I'll do a little teaser. Well, this is a beautiful teaser, and thank you again. Just so grateful. So lucky to have connected with you.
Oh,
and
back at you, mate.
That's so good. So 11th of July, I'm planning on launching the first episode, and I'll do a little teaser so everyone knows it's coming. And most likely the first episode will go up on Rumble to start with. And then yeah, a few other places possibly, depends, whatever. As long as it's out there somewhere, it's there to be found. So I'm good with
Yeah.
that.
Awesome. So how can people find you right now so that they don't miss this first episode? Would they come to your Facebook page? Are you on Rumble yet? Or
Yeah, just Donovan Gall, Gall, Donovan Gall on Facebook.
yeah,
Come friend me.
yeah,
If you send me a friend request, please send me a voice note and say, "Hi Donovan, I'm from Timbuktu. Saw you on Narita's podcast, or whatever.
wherever.
Saw you
Yeah,
on this, that, or the other. I've sent you a friend request because we live in times where we need to verify that we're talking to a real person, not some AI bot."
yeah. This is true.
Yeah, it just makes it easy for everyone. If you make sure that you can prove you're human, you don't have to spend time trying to work out if that's a real profile and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yes. Yeah. No, I hear you. And once you go live, the show obviously is the Synchronicity Show. So people will be able to find that on Rumble and wherever you decide to put it as you go, the 1 2 1 2 along the way. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, so good. Well, I just want to thank you, Donovan, for coming on the show again and just for sharing all your goodness. It is so bloody exciting that you are launching this podcast. It is the time. I definitely, for everyone watching, for you at home, thank you for being here. As always, you rock. And leave a comment and all that sort of stuff too. I know Donovan and I will love to hear from you in the comments. And yeah, subscribe and all that sort of stuff. But like we've been chatting about, if you aren't connected with Donovan, definitely do that. And then look out for the Synchronicity Show starting on the 7th of, no, the 11th of July. I nearly
Well, it is.
smashed it.
No,
Yeah?
that's good because it is the 7-Eleven code, and that's actually why I chose it.
Yes, that's why it was in my head. I think I wrote it down like that when we were chatting about it the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. 7-Eleven. I'm in a 9 personal year. 7 + 1 + 1 is 9, and it felt good. And Mads gave me a mini astrology reading, and she said,
Yes.
"That's a good time." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that fits perfect." And it all lined up, and I'm like, "Cool. All right. Done."
Yes. Yeah, it's perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again, Donovan, for being on the show. You're a bloody champion, and I cannot wait to tune in to the Synchronicity Show.
Thank you so much. And namaste, namastizzle, in Lakesh, be the ripple.
Love it.
Thanks, Narita.
Thanks, Donovan.